Hey there, fellow nerds. Darth Jager coming at y'all with a review of Doctor Who Season 25 on Blu-ray. Season 25 marks the 16th North American release of the Doctor Who Blu-ray collection. We're halfway there, folks. And it's the second season of Sylvester McCoy's tenure as the Doctor, which also completes his run in the Blu-ray range with the previously released seasons 24 and 26. Before we get started on the stories, let's check out the packaging. On the cover, we get some terrific artwork by Lee Binding showing the 7th Doctor at the center, along with the villains of the season. On the side, we get the familiar logo, and on the back, we get a list of the stories from the 25th anniversary season. A little bit of information on the vast amount of special features, as well as some erroneous info on the bottom block. The so-called main feature is not presented in 16:9 anamorphic and is in fact the standard 4:3 aspect ratio as originally broadcast. And the audio is DTS HD Master Audio 5.1 with a DTS 2.0 option as well. Season 25 contains 14 episodes over 4 stories, starting off strong with Remembrance of the Daleks, which has the Doctor traveling back to 1963 to retrieve an ancient Gallifreyan device known as the Hand of Omega. Written by Ben Aronovich, it contains references from the first episode of the series, An Unearthly Child, including I Am Foreman's Junkyard at 76 Totters Lane and Coal Hill School, both of which are featured prominently. The story itself is huge and complex in scale, featuring multiple factions of Daleks working for and against a group of neo-national socialists to seize an ancient Gallifreyan artifact of enormous power that the Doctor left behind on a previous adventure. Almost sounds like it's from an Indiana Jones movie. The visual effects for 1988 Doctor Who are fantastic. The Daleks' trademark extermination ray finally looks as good as we all imagined they should look, and for the first time in the history of our beloved program, years before the 2005 reboot, we see that the Daleks can in fact climb, or more accurately, hover upstairs. Ben Aronovich really hits it out of the park with this, his first broadcast script for the show, making Remembrance of the Daleks by far the best story of the season. I mean, talk about blowing all your allowance in one go. If I had one criticism, it would be that the music by Kef McCullough, it's very 80s synth drum machine when the story probably deserves a larger, more bombastic orchestral score. All in all, Remembrance of the Daleks gets a 5 out of 5. The next story is Graham Curry's The Happiness Patrol, in which the Doctor and Ace find themselves on a human colony planet run by a loony, pink-haired woman known as Helen A., whose secret police, known as the Happiness Patrol, are tasked with hunting down and murdering anyone the government deems a so-called killjoy. This serial was never one of my favorites, maybe because as a North American, the whole Thatcher derangement syndrome the writers and producers were experiencing at the time went over my head. The overall tone of the story seems like it belongs in season 24 as well, with its goofiness and garish colors. And the completely studio-bound shoot of the episodes gives everything a small, cheap look. Even and especially the shots that are supposed to take place outside on the streets. In the end, the Happiness Patrol gets a 2 out of 5. The 25th anniversary season continues with Silver Nemesis by Kevin Clark. The story has the Cybermen, along with 2 other factions of antagonists, including a small militia of National Socialists, battling to seize control of an ancient Gallifreyan artifact of enormous power that the Doctor left behind. And if that sounds strangely familiar, well, it should, because it's pretty much the plot of Remembrance of the Daleks, but with Cybermen, done in 3 episodes instead of 4. Anyway, it's not that bad, really, and there's some nice character stuff with Sylvester McCoy's Doctor and Sophie Aldred's Ace that tend to elevate the story a scotch. One weird production design choice I noticed was the National Socialist baddies are carrying and using Uzis, firearms designed and manufactured in Israel. Also, because the stories were broadcast out of the order they were shot, the eagle eyed viewer may notice the gold spiral pin Ace wears on her bomber jacket is a pin she doesn't even receive until the next broadcast story, The Greatest Show in the Galaxy. A 3 out of 5. The final story of season 25 is The Greatest Show in the Galaxy. No, just no. Unfortunately, the story starts off with a cringy, even by 1988 standards, rap sequence that ends in a fourth wall break from the actor, and then continues with an interior TARDIS scene where Ace asks the Doctor where her Nitro 9 cans and rucksack are. Viewers, of course, know that she threw both into the Cyberman shuttle in the previous story. The struggle to keep continuity is real, folks. Soon after, the Doctor and Ace land on the planet Seganax, where the visitors to the famous psychic circus are forced to perform amusing acts for the entertainment of the wickedly evil gods of Ragnarok. I like this one. It's a fun, spooky story that works on all levels. It contains a number of interesting, compelling characters and some great performances by Sylv and Sophie. Fun fact, the production nearly suffered a Shada-like cancellation when asbestos was discovered in the BBC studios where they were supposed to shoot the interiors. But because the show must go on, the production set up a makeshift tent studio in the BBC parking lot. A 4 out of 5. At this point in Who history, the show was shot entirely on videotape, so these Blu-rays are upscaled to 1080 60p. And while some segments look better than others, it's never going to look as good as something shot on film. But as with anything, your mileage may vary. The audio, however, is fantastic, especially the included 5.1 DTS HD MA tracks, which were remixed and remastered by Mark Ayers of the Doctor Who restoration team. This box set contains an absolute treasure trove of extras, including exclusive special editions of every story, with the option for updated visual effects, 3 in-conversation specials with Matthew Sweet interviewing Sophie Aldred, Andrew Cartmel, and director Chris Clough. As well, there are heaps of other new extras, as well as the special features from the previous DVD releases. And finally, for the first time on disc, the rare making-of documentary from the VHS version of Silver Nemesis, as well as the original extended VHS cut of the story. While the previous season of the show had writing that was scattered at best, season 25 seems to get a proper handle on the Doctor's character. We see the beginnings of script editor Andrew Cartmel's so-called master plan, which was about putting the mystery and menace back into the Doctor, traits that had sadly been lost over previous seasons of the show. These scenes and lines of dialogue hinted that the Doctor may have been a more ancient and powerful being that we had been led to believe up until the point in the lore. These themes would be explored more deeply in season 26, just before the head of the BBC, Michael Grade, cancelled the program. But hey, what do you guys think? Do y'all love classic Doctor Who like I do, or do you prefer New Who? Let me know in the comments below. Remember to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and I'll see all y'all in the next video. Later.
Activate the orbital device! Orbital device activated! The Daleks shall become the Lords of Time! Data instability! Reaction out of control! would let you have control of the Hand of Omega. Do not do this, I beg of you! Nothing can stop it now! Have pity on me! I have pity for you. Bye, Davros. It hasn't been pleasant